Brooke, Lynn, and Chase are at the axe-throwing bar, and BLQ is envisioning Lucy as her target. He asks when she turned on Lucy. Brooke Lynn admits she crossed a line with her grandmother. She tells him about the fight at Deception between Lucy and Tracy, and how Lucy claimed Laurel was the love of Luke's life, and Lucy did this so that Scott could swoop in and romance her. She guesses they are trying to trick Tracy into marriage, to take the Deception shares and give them back to Lucy. Brooke Lynn explains her granny saw through them, and nobody deserves that. He points out she's scheming against Tracy, but Brooke Lynn says that's within the family so it's acceptable. They get back to the axe throwing, and flirt with one another. At the hospital, Finn worries what he's about to do is a bad idea, and that he should be meeting with his lawyer. Liz notes there isn't much else he can do right now with Martin, and if he feels he needs this to listen to his gut. Finn heads in for an 8A meeting. He talks about the lawsuit he's facing and how not being able to be a doctor would kill him. Portia, Stella, and Trina gather, while Marshall is in with Curtis as they wait to find out if the surgery worked or not. Stella heads to the chapel, and Portia asks Trina to talk to her. Trina is unsure if she should go to Paris right now. Portia says she and Curtis both want her to go, even if it's with Spencer. They want her to go and experience new things, and of course to send lots of pictures. Trina gets a call from Spencer, and Portia urges her to take it as they need all the support they can get today. Trina walks off, and Liz shows up to support Portia. Portia knows Liz and Finn are struggling with this lawsuit, and Liz says they are. However, Liz wants to know how Curtis is doing. Portia says he's walking a fine line between hope and not being too hopeful, and he's determined to face what's coming. She knows life isn't fair and they aren't guaranteed a happy ending. She admits she's been having a reoccurring dream of dancing with Curtis at their rehearsal dinner, and how real the moment feels until she wakes up. She fears they'll never dance again like that, but part of her can't stop herself from hoping that maybe they can. Marshall and Stella run into one another. She asks how Curtis is. Marshall says he doesn't believe in miracles, but he believes in his son. She says miracles happen every day. Look at how they've remained friends. He brings up Christmas Eve and refuses to let her brush what they felt off. She says it's something that can never be. Anna arrives at and asks TJ about his mom never showing up to meet her for drinks the night before, and she isn't answering her messages. TJ begins to worry and tells Anna about the lead his mom got into Curtis shooting. Anna is concerned, but his mother knows not to go into a situation alone. Suddenly Jordan shows up, and TJ quickly realizes she's wearing the same clothes as last night and asks where she's been. Jordan says she's been going nonstop since the lead came in, and Anna explains she was concerned when she didn't show up for the drinks and went radio silent. Jordan assures them she's fine. TJ leaves to check on Curtis, and Anna asks what really happened. Jordan says she never got to follow the lead as she was stopped. Jordan explains she just got her first real break, but she was intercepted by two men who were all business. She was taken across town to a room, with a two-way mirror, with strangers staring at her. She recounts they were FBI, and she told them if they are investigating Curtis, then they are on the same side. However, the FBI wanted her to back off. She offered to help them when there was a knock on the door. She doesn't know who it was on the other side, but they put the fear of God into those agents. She honestly was worried about how far they'd go to keep her quiet. She says whoever was at the door was calling the shots, and the agents told her a car would be waiting to take her back, and they advised her to stick to her desk. Anna assumes she won't do that, and Jordan says, not a chance. Anna says she'll need backup to take on the feds, and Jordan won't turn down the help. She thanks Anna. Portia checks on Curtis, and he asks her to bring the whole family in. They'd all come in, and he gives them an inspirational speech about how no wheelchair will ever keep him down, no matter what. TG arrives and says Dr. Martell is on his way, and then the examination will begin. Dr. Martell eventually arrives and begins the examination. He administers pinpricks to the bottom of Curtis' feet, but he feels nothing. The doctor continues and Curtis feels one. Dr. Martell says this is good news, but it's no guarantee. Curtis knows it's a start. Liz goes back to check on Finn after the meeting ends. He tells her that he's grateful for her support. He thanked her for not letting him talk himself out of that meeting as it helped. At the Metro Court, Gregory approaches Scott and Track. Meanwhile, Martin wonders why Lucy keeps looking over at them, and what is so captivating about Scott Baldwin. She tells him that he need not be jealous, but he says discussing Scott gets her all scrunched up. She says he looks insecure, and it's not a good look. She storms off to the ladies' room. In the ladies' room, Lucy vents about Scott, and Martin enters to confront her, after making sure nobody else is there. Martin wants the truth about her and Scott right now. He says she claims she knew about his history with his exes, and he thought she understood and loved him. She says she did love him. She does love him. Martin storms out. Back in the restaurant, Scott assures Tracy she has his attention. When he sees Martin storm out, Scott says he needs to go to the little boy's room. Tracy assures Gregory nothing is happening here, and she wants a backgammon rematch soon. Gregory shows symptoms and gets chalked up, but claims it's just heartburn. He heads off and Tracy appears worried. Back in the ladies' room, Lucy leaves Martin a desperate message to let her explain and give her a chance. A man hands her a tissue and she assumes it is Martin, but it's Scott. Scott asks what is going on with her and Martin, and she says that's what he wants to know about them. She says she told Marty that they were old news, and he reminds her how much she used to like him, especially in her boudoir. She warns him not to do this, he has a job, and to finish it. Meanwhile, Tracy finds Gregory in the lobby leaning against a couch, and he admits to her that he can't move. She wants to call an ambulance, but he refuses. She helps him sit down, and he says he needs to stay strong for the wedding. Tracy has heard he's been asked to officiate. Tracy says that is going to be the big event of the season, but begins venting about Olivia's idea of a wedding cake in Loy's. Gregory asks her not to do this. Gregory wants this wedding to be perfect, a joyous occasion that Chase and Brooke Lynn can look back on. He doesn't want any more petty fighting. Brooke Lynn and Chase are what's important. She understands, and she asks how his breathing is. He says better, and so is his energy, which is obviously why she riled him up. Tracy calls Yuri, and he'll be waiting for them outside. He's sorry he interrupted her date, but she insists appearances are deceiving. Lucy and Scott head back to the restaurant and discover Tracy left, and she instructed a waiter to pass on that something came up. Lucy thinks they have to do damage control and orders 24 roses for Tracy on Scott's card. On the next General Hospital, Trina and Spencer get a Bon Voyage party. Kevin talks to Esma as Laura speaks to Heather. Spinelli accuses Cody of having feelings for Maxie.